Make a date with Rev Dr Ebenezer Markwei at 6 a.m. from Monday to Saturday on Graphic Online via Facebook and YouTube as he expounds on matters of faith. Graphic Online, truth and accuracy every day.
This is Rev Dr Ebenezer Markwei of Living Streams International, bringing you matters of faith with Graphic Online. You remember the story of Jonah Jonah in the belly of the whale. You know, many songs have been written and many fun has been made. I always tell my friends that, listen, I prefer to obey God, you get it, landing safely or riding on top of the sea, than to arrive in obedience to God smelling of fish food. And that is Jonah for you. God will get you where he wants to get you at, but it is your choice either to go on top of the water or under the water. I prefer on top of the water. Ask me, I know what I'm talking about, because boy, I've walked in paths of disobedience for some time. But that story, captured in Jonah chapter 1, verse 5 to 15, is a very hilarious story for me. Very hilarious. It's so full of fun. And the reason why it's full of fun, you see, you can look at it through the eyeglasses of God, God's perspective. That's fine. You can also look at it through the eyeglasses of Jonah. That's disobedience. That's also serious. But then there are other players too in that whole saga, in that whole debacle, in that whole scenario. And those other players are the captain and the seamen and the other traders in the boat. Remember, when God spoke to Jonah and told Jonah, you go preach in Nineveh. And Jonah said, I ain't going nowhere. This Nineveh people, no way. You don't want to listen to them. You don't want to talk to them. They are hard-hearted. They are stony. They don't respect anybody. They don't regard anybody. They don't obey anybody. And so why should I go talk to them? I'm not going. I'm going on my own journey. The Bible says when he entered the boat, guess what happened? There was a storm. And the storm that came sought to just wreck the boat, to capsize the ship. There are some things that were going on that was very interesting to me. See what the captain was doing. When the storm started, normally what happened was that the Bible said they began to lighten the ship. They began to make the ship a little bit less heavy so that the ship can be able to navigate properly in the storm. This was a merchant ship. These were merchants. So the goods they were carrying, that was going to bring them profit. The goods they were carrying that was going to bring them stipend for their livelihood were being thrown into the sea. So number one, they were doing everything and they were losing precious cargo. They were losing a lot of cargo as a result of it. They were losing money as a result of that. Number two, the Bible said they prayed. They were calling, and the Bible says something funnily. Everybody was calling upon their gods. Well, boy, I've been in a bus with other people, including fetish priests and priestesses before. You know, when 2 or 3 of them entered the bus, and the bus was near accident. And to be very honest with you, all this came, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I was wondering, oh, wow, where is the... But guess what? You know, everybody knows that salvation is in no other name than the name of Jesus. But here's the principle. They were praying, and some of them were calling upon their gods. So number one, they were throwing their precious cargo overboard. And number two, they were praying. And guess what? Jonah, the reason for the storm, because a wind was sent from God. And that wind, that God introduced a whirlwind. God introduced a storm. And the storm, the reason for that storm was because of Jonah's disobedience. And guess what? The person, the culprit, for which all that was going on, was asleep. Was asleep in the boat. And that's a very interesting one for me. The reason for the storm was asleep. Guess what? Sometimes in our journey through life, we'll get into relationships or we'll carry some people on board our boats of destiny who introduces storm, their own storm, into our system. And they come with their storm. They come with their wahala. They come with their trouble. And they come with all of this thing. There's something around them that whenever they enter your relationship or they enter your boat of destiny or they enter your boat of pursuit, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, in your business and whatever, once they come in, they are a wrecking machine. And they begin to create havoc. One way or the other, they enter your boat and introduce their storm into your boat. And this is the interesting thing. For people like that, the Bible said, and they were throwing overboard their cargo, that which was going to give them a livelihood, that which was going to earn them profit. And when people like that enter, one of the things you would see is that you begin to lose precious time, you begin to lose precious friendships, you begin to lose precious goods, your businesses starts going down. Things about them, one way or the other, they wreck your cherished relationship, they wreck your covenant relationship, they wreck your businesses, they wreck your finances, they wreck everything around you. Those people carry a storm of disobedience, and they'll introduce their storm into your boat of destiny. Now, the amazing thing, when the captain of the boat discovered that Jonah was the reason for the storm, did you see what he did? The Bible said he began to row very hard. More human power, total human deployment, total human power deployment. And that was what they were doing. They were rowing hard. So I guess what? If I was listening, I'd start singing for the captain, row, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat. And they were rowing hard. So they're putting human labor into it. You've lost your goods. You're about to die. And you are rowing hard. And the reason for all this trouble is just safely. Some of these people, we have a soulish attachment to them. We have an attachment to those people. Even when we recognize that these people are wrecking our boats, we would like to keep them in our boats. And so far as you keep them in your boat will capsize. Your boat of destiny will be destroyed. It will wreck. You're going to your beautiful relationships are going to be terminated. Godly relationships, covenant relationships are going to go out of the window because you're tolerating, excuse my language, a fool. Because you're tolerating someone whose loose gangling cannon is destroying all your good relationships. It's destroying your business. And what you do is that sometimes we fight hard to maintain those people. Those people become a high maintenance relationships. And those high maintenance relationships, they're going to cost you. Because you're going to spend time, you're going to spend energy, you're going to spend resources. And you're going to waste talent. All you're doing trying to preserve those relationships. You know one thing? Do what the captain do. Throw them out of your boat. Look at that person and tell the person, get out of my boat. Throw the person out of your boat. You don't need that person. Because that person is going to cost you your destiny. So do what the captain did at the final analysis. You do it early than later. Do it sooner than later. And that's what the captain did. Threw him out of the boat. Why? Because some of those people, they have an insurance policy. And that insurance policy, when you throw them into the water, a whale will swallow them and will take them to where they need to go. But you might not have that insurance policy. If your boat capsizes or your boat wrecks, there are sharks waiting in the boat, forgive my language, to chew your backside. So you don't want to be shark food? Get rid of them. So look at that person square in the face and tell the person, get out of my boat. It will save your life. It will save your relationships. It will save your profit. And it will guarantee peace in the pursuit of your destiny. So look at somebody and tell the person, get out of my boat. And it's not a sin. It's a righteous deed. See you and God bless you.